Welcome again to Let's Talk About It podcast, where we talk to different experts and creatives from all over Malawi. I'm your host, Priscilla Jasmine. Today's guest is an industry association and upcoming public figure. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself and occupation?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. My name is Suleiman Daoud. That's my government name. Professionally known as The Plot. I'm a music producer and video director.
Wow.
Yes.
That's great. When we talk about music producer and a video director, what do you really mean? Because some of us we just hear producer and director, but we don't know what you do exactly.
Okay, that's a very nice question. As a producer and as a director, basically you could say that it's basically the same job. That's why most of the time the job kind of overlaps. A producer's job, most people probably think that a producer is a beat maker or a producer is a songwriter.
Yeah.
But it's basically sometimes all of them, and it can be none of them. A producer's job, from my understanding, is taking different instrumentations and performances and putting them together.
Yes.
And making them into one performance.
Okay.
So as a producer, when I'm producing, that is basically my job. As a director, sometimes I'll be directing videos, but also directing when in the studio, Yeah, there's like a lot of things whereby a lot of times you find an artist has an idea, but they do not know how to get to the final point of what they want to create. Okay. So as a director, it's our job to do that, get them to the final destination, whether they are video videographer themselves, or cinematographer, another artist, another producer, but just giving them a direction towards what they already have to make their final an idea of a final project.
Wow.
I could say that's what a producer and a director's job is.
Okay, I can see that's a big job to do. So what inspired you to become a music producer or a director, video director? What inspired you most?
Well, honestly speaking, in my case, I was never really inspired from the start. I never started out being I want to be a music producer or I want to be a video director. But I grew up in an environment whereby a lot of people were musical, and musical in the sense whereby they were trying to get to a certain point.
Yes.
And people around me had certain skills. So I wasn't really inspired from the start. I grew up in an environment where people were very musical, but then in the sense whereby there were things they were trying to get to, but some ideas they couldn't fully finish. So most of my friends were, I could say, amateur producers, right? In the sense whereby they were getting into production, but they never really wanted to get that far. People were just producing to produce their own music or produce some demos. So I'd learn from these people, and after learning a thing or two, I'd usually get the upper hand or be in front of the game. If I learn how to EQ, then I'd be better at EQing. If I learn how to compress, I'd be better at that. So I started to realize that I actually have an ear for it. Yes. I feel like production is all about an ear. I started realizing that I kind of have an ear for making better choices when it comes to music, being able to tell that this is working and this isn't working.
Okay.
So that kind of drew me closer to music production.
Okay.
And that's where the inspiration kind of came from.
All right. So tell us what sparks your creativity when producing a track or directing a video.
Okay, should I put these together or should I answer each separately?
You can answer it separately.
Okay. Okay, sparking creativity. Well, most of the times, it's not every day, whereby you can feel creative. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you just have that vibe. Just I want to pull up in the stool, I want to make something. I want to make something beautiful, whatnot. Yeah. But there's times whereby you can literally have no ideas. You can literally just stare at a blank screen, and not have any idea from where to go. But I think for me, it's the part whereby I love music and I just love coming up with new stuff. So I'm constantly looking for something new. And in situations whereby I even don't have any ideas, my job is to just start. That's what I usually do. Like if I'm staring at a blank screen, I don't have a beat, I can just think like, okay, I don't know what I want to make, but I gotta start somewhere. So I just put an instrument there, and at the end of the day you realize that an hour later something is dead. So that's mainly where the inspiration comes from. It's just mainly thinking about where I want to be and starting every time, just knowing that I have to do something every single day.
Okay. What's your memorable experience from a recording or filming session?
Most memorable, a happy or a sad one?
Hi, memorable. Either happy or sad one.
Let me think about that. Memorable experience. Okay, a lot of experiences are memorable. I mean, like every time an artist pulls up to the studio, they always come with something that you haven't seen before. Yeah, but I think one of my most memorable experiences was like, it's not even that fancy, but I recorded for a band, and this band was like, it's kind of famous.
Okay.
And it's well known, especially in Lilongwe City. So I was recording for them, but I didn't really think they were recording because they were impressed with my work or anything like that. So they pulled up to the studio. They were recommended by another artist. They came, and we worked on like 4 tracks in a single day.
Okay.
Yes, and they wanted all of them delivered the same day. And at the end of the day, the band leader, he was like, yo, I really like your ear. He's like, you got a really great ear, and you're gonna go far with this. Wow. So it was like my first time ever being like given credits from somebody who's in the game, somebody who's experienced, somebody who knows what's happening. And they paid me double for work that I charge less. For all the projects, they paid me double. So for me, it was like really a push, like somebody that doesn't know me, somebody that's never met me, but he's going out of his way to show me how much he appreciates my work. Like that kind of gave me a push to like put all the cards, like just gamble everything and just be like, I'm gonna do this. I think this is my calling. I think this is what's for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe it may be that you didn't have Marian. Come on, just tell us, good, so okay, so who influences you most in music and cinema? Yeah.
All right. Musically speaking, right now, like I'm okay. For a lot of years, I've been influenced a lot by like Lil Wayne. To be honest, Lil Wayne is the reason I started music. Because I started music from poetry.
Okay.
From poetry, I went to music, and that was before like I actually started listening to music. I was more into lyrics. So I just download lyrics on the internet and just read them before even hearing how the song goes. Yeah. So that time, Lil Wayne was popping. He was like one of the biggest rappers around the world. So at the time, I was very influenced by Lil Wayne, how he sets up his rhyme schemes, how he puts his words together, the punchlines, the imageries, and all of that. It kind of like what drew me into writing. So listening to how his music goes after starting the writing career, that's what brought me forward. When it comes to cinema, I actually started cinema later than I started music production. But then, I mean, who's not inspired? We're living in a day and age whereby cameras are everywhere. People are creating content from their own homes. So it's more like in this day and age, the cinema isn't just about being one of the best directors out there, but it's just like, it's art. We just create art because it's part of us now. Everybody has to be in cinema some way or the other. So I feel like I've just been naturally to, like I say, most of the things that push me through to naturally draw me. But from the directors that are out there right now, a director that really catches my eye is Cole Bennett. Cole Bennett, I gotta give kudos to him. He really knows how to use colors, contrasting colors. He really understands cinema, what it is.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what budget video I've seen him do, but like from any budget he's been given, he always delivers. That's what I really like about Cole Bennett.
Yeah.
And when it comes to musically speaking, right now, not from where I started, but right now, Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean is one of the best artists I've ever seen, in my opinion. Like he only has 2 albums I know about, and I haven't heard of any music that he's released since 2015. But then his music still sounds great up to the date, and his music can teach you a lot as a producer, as an artist, as a writer. It just inspires you.
That's great.
So yeah, those are the 2 top names up there for me right now. Frank Ocean when it comes to music, and Cole Bennett when it comes to cinema. But then no matter what, Lil Wayne's name, Weezy's gotta pop up somewhere regardless. Yeah.
Okay, so in every industry there may be some of my challenges. And what was your toughest project, and how did you overcome that challenge?
Okay. I feel for me, like, the toughest part is like, okay, I have a musical ear said by people, but I don't come from a musical background.
Okay.
Like Kwatu, they don't listen to music at all. Like my mom and dad don't even know that I'm an artist. There's no music that we don't listen to music. You put anything, even if you're watching like NBC and probably like say an advert and music comes, they're gonna put it on mute until the advert goes. There's like no music, literally no music.
Okay.
Ringtones and stuff like that, they don't do it. It's a very religious environment. So it's the reason why I started with poetry. I never had access to music, so I had to access to a lot of things that I used to read. Yeah, so it's like I have the musical ear said by people, but I don't come from a musical background. I never had the chance to, like, as a kid, hear how music sounds like and this and that. I'd hear from far, but not as a listener. Just like, when you're taught to hate something as a kid, you don't have the time to sit down and listen to it. So I was more introduced to it when I grew up. So understanding music as a already grown individual kind of like was tough for me,
Yeah.
You're trying to make music, you're trying to make beats, and you haven't really had the musical background. You've never been to, like, most people been to choir, most people have played an instrument before. Now you're trying to play instruments as a grown up and learn them, So I had to, like, because for a long time, even when it came to making beats, it wasn't like just easy for me. Like, I know how to make beats. Most of the people that started making beats at the time I was starting, they already were decent enough before I could even make an actual beat. So that was like literally one of the biggest challenges for me, coming from a non-musical background and trying to be a part of the musical scene and actually making music that is appealing.
All right, have you ever maybe received a negative feedback from your doings, your work?
Yeah, I have a lot. And I have received a lot, and I feel like sometimes it's your friends, they like kind of don't want to tell you what's bad when it's bad. But I gotta give credit to my foes.
Okay.
Because I've received a lot of negative comments, but those negative comments are what made me who I am today. I could say it's partly because it's either, I feel like criticism can sometimes be bad, but there is constructive criticism. Sometimes when somebody tells you what's wrong with what you're doing, it's not because they're hating on you, but like if you fix the things that are wrong, the things you're doing, there's less that's wrong. And it allows these people to, like, if somebody says like, okay, you're making music and I just listened to your track, but I have this problem with it, I take it as somebody that's willing to listen again tomorrow if you fix that problem. So I've received, like, and I actually never used to go by the stage name The Plot. I had to change it. I had another name, and I changed it, like rebranding, renewing. After all that with the other name and whatnot, and people seeing me grow as an artist and whatnot, I was like, okay, I did that chapter, I closed that chapter. This is a new changed individual. So I have received a lot of backlash and a lot of, you know how it is, like sometimes like even from people that you expect to get the most love, and then they tell you things that you wouldn't expect. But it's things like that have gotten me to the stage I am today, and I feel like they are the things that are going to help me go forward anyway.
Right.
Yes.
So that, I think that's how you handle them.
That's how I handle criticism.
Okay, what's your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment,
Yeah.
Besides working with like artists in the industry, getting bangers, hearing things soaring on radio stations and whatnot, but I think my proudest accomplishment is how hard I work, because I'm a man on a mission, and I constantly reflect on my work and myself, and it pushes me forward, when I see how far I've gotten from where I've come, and I just be like, oh wow, like I never expected that I'd do some of those things. Like beat making, I never really wanted to. First, I used to tell people I'm just a mixing and mastering engineer, because I was good at mixing and mastering, but I never even wanted to venture into beats.
Okay.
But people would come and force me, like, bro, can't you make a beat for me? I mean, you're mixing dope. I want you to make a beat for me and have it mixed like this.
Yeah.
So I had to push myself to be like, all right, I don't think I can do this, but I'm gonna force it. And I got out the other side. And thus we're living in a world whereby these days, like, people can do things like that at a push of a button. Like you can just click a button on the internet and you have AI make a beat for you.
Yeah.
You can just you can hire somebody that can do it underground, all of that. But for me, I am an artist. Like I can sell somebody else's work, I can do all of that and take the credit and make a little guap at the end of the day. But there's sometimes where it's just different when you go past the things that are pushing you back, like I want to do this. There's an easy way to do it, but I'm gonna do the hard thing. I want to make a beat. I don't know anything about music, so I'm gonna study music theory and I'm gonna learn how to play an instrument, and I'm gonna learn what type of instruments go in this and what genres are, what music, things like that. So me actually doing that and pushing forward regardless, being here still till today and still doing this, I feel like that's my biggest accomplishment.
Wow. So what's your goal in that?
My goal?
Yeah.
My goal is to be able to make a universal sound, Like Kendrick Lamar even once talked about this, whereby he's like, it's easy to make good music, but it's not always easy to make music that is appealing to everybody. Yeah. So probably not everybody's gonna like it, but at least it should touch them. Because it's not just about the plaques and the numbers, it's about, are you making an impact? I'm not trying to speak like an activist or politician or whatnot, so I'm not gonna get into that. But as an artist, like some things as an artist, they won't like even teach anybody anything. Like somebody gets to listen to a song or see a painting, or watch a video, and they start the video confused. After the video, they're more confused than they were before the video started. But just that moment of whereby you can actually take them out of their normal, thinking space and put them in a world whereby they live in your world for 3 or 5 minutes, and see things how you see them, probably not understand them, but feel something, whatever they feel. That's what it is.
Okay. So is there any dream of collaboration or projects upcoming?
I'm an artist. We're always working.
That's true.
We're always working. But then there is a lot to come. There is a lot. I don't like to talk about what I've planning
you're about to do.
Yeah, but people should be waiting and ready to see what's coming, and they just should be ready to receive.
Okay, maybe if I can ask, if you were just given a chance to do collaboration with someone, who can it be?
A collaboration with somebody?
Yeah.
Should they
choose? Just choose randomly.
Do they have to be from Malawi or?
I think here in Malawi.
Yeah. Right now, I think. Okay. Can I choose one or two?
Okay, choose two.
Okay, two.
Yeah.
Okay, right now, firstly, it would be Crispy.
Okay. Why?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his marketing. I'm a fan of his brand. That's what I'm a fan of. Like, for me, art is also received how you present it. Yeah. So I'd say Crispy, because I think I could learn a thing or two from his branding. You know, when you like how somebody handles something, you could learn a thing or two when you work with them.
Okay.
Yes. And Trappy beats. Trappy, I like his production. He's a producer, yes, but lately his music, it's just been something else. Like, he can make a vibe out of the simplest concepts. He's got a great voice. He understands music. Like, you can hear from his flows that he really understands music theory to another level, and his articulation is on point. Like, what he does to a beat, he jump on a beat and somebody else jump on a beat, but it sounds so different when his voice comes in and another person's voice comes in. Like, so you just know, like, put somebody like that on the same record with you and create something, it's gonna be something.
Wow.
Yes.
So maybe you can encourage or advise some youth out there who really wants to be in your industry, but maybe they don't have potential or something like that. How can you tell them? What can you tell them? Yeah.
What I'd say is that keep pushing, but be smart about it. Because, like, music, although people just look at, like, being on the top, the numbers, the plaques, all of that, but music is actually a business, you know. So if you think about something from a business perspective, you think about it in the long run. Like, I want to do this for this long, you know. So for me to get there, you know, and for me to be doing it this long, it's why I got into production that deep. It's why I fought hard to, like, be able to make beats, because I know if I'm sitting in the same room with fellow, because I started as an artist, you know, before I got into production, but I know if I'm sitting in the same room with other artists, how do I have an upper hand? I'm a music producer. So now in the room, I'm a businessman. I'm there to make music just like these other artists, but I'm also there, I can sell beats to all these artists. If there's 20 artists in the room and I'm charging, let's say, 10 or 20k for a beat, just make the math, you know. So it allows you to think in the business way. It's like when you step into the industry, you're not just there looking for favors, but you can actually be somebody that offers something, you know, besides just asking for things, you know. And don't give up, like, because you look at countries like Brazil, right, where people, they come from the bottom of the bottom, you know, and, like, there's places whereby the gutters in Brazil, whereby people, they have nothing to do, you know, and the only thing they actually do is focus on soccer, you know. Or these gutters, like, even in, like, you know, you hear people talking about places like even in America itself, whereby people only have, like, options, like, either you sell drugs, you do music, or you go play basketball, you know. Like, people think it's always glitters and gold everywhere, but there are places where people suffer. But now when you in situations like that, you know, just making sure that you put your extra in it. You know, you probably won't always be at the top of the world, but work to the best of your abilities. Just every single day tell yourself that you want to make it out of the problems that you're in, and this is the only way out, and trying your best.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Let's Talk About It. You can find this episode on YouTube, Spotify. Thank you. Bye bye.